spreads down the corridor like wildfire, ugly, rising, mean. Lily Hart, the quiet transfer student with the white cane, is standing in the middle of it, frozen. Someone's hand snatches the cane away, waves it in the air like a trophy. The crowd laughs harder. She reaches out, trying to find it, but her fingers meet empty air. Then, a shove. She hits the floor, books scattering, milk splattering across tile. For 3 seconds, the world watches. Nobody moves. The cameras just keep rolling. And that's when a shadow steps forward. Nia Kane. Black, 17. Calm as thunder before it breaks. Her hand touches Lily's shoulder gently. "Stay here." One of the bullies laughs. "What are you gonna do, hero?" Nia turns her head slowly, eyes like locked steel. She doesn't answer. 5 minutes later, the same hallway is silent. The same phones are still recording. And the same crowd is frozen, watching the girl who fell now being lifted gently to her feet, while the one who mocked her struggles to breathe against the wall, his own phone skittering across the floor. The moment everything changes, the hallway learns a rule. This is Black Stories, where the pain of prejudice is told, and justice always finds its voice. If you believe a hallway shouldn't be a hunting ground, and that real strength is protecting the ones the crowd ignores, tap like, share this, and subscribe. In the next minutes, you'll see how one calm enough flipped the food chain, exposed the system behind the bullies, and turned every raised phone into a witness. The video that would later ignite the internet. It hadn't happened yet. Because before that day, there were only 2 girls trying to survive the kind of silence that eats at you when nobody really sees you. Nia Kane was used to it. Her mornings began before sunrise, always with the same sound, the hum of the old ceiling fan above her bed, the city buses growling down the street, and the faint cough from her mother's room. Her mom hadn't worked in months. Lupus, the doctors said. The pills helped some days, failed on others. So it was Nia who cooked breakfast, who got Malik ready for school, who double-checked that the rent envelope stayed hidden behind the loose tile in the kitchen wall. She moved like someone who had learned to carry the world without letting it look heavy. Stillness first, force last. Never ego. When she left the apartment, she paused at the door, calling back, "Don't forget your meds, Mom." Her mother's voice came weak but warm. "Don't forget to breathe, baby." That was the only softness Nia allowed herself. Because once she stepped outside, softness was weakness, and weakness got you eaten. But there was one place she didn't have to pretend. The dojo. Her father had brought her there when she was 5, a tiny girl with wide eyes and scraped knees. He'd knelt beside her, tied her white belt, and whispered, "This isn't about fighting, Nia. It's about stillness." Then he'd smiled. "You learn to control yourself. You can handle anything." He never made it to her first competition. Car accident, wrong turn, wrong night. After that, the dojo became her sanctuary. By 16, she'd earned her black belt. By 17, she'd learned to hide it. Because nobody respected discipline in a girl who looked like her. Black, quiet, and too composed to be approachable. At school, they called her Ninja behind her back, thinking it was a joke. She let them laugh, because she'd learned something her sensei once said. Let them underestimate you. It makes the reveal more poetic. Then came Lily Hart. Transfer student, pale, soft-spoken, her eyes never quite meeting yours but seeing more than anyone realized. The whispers followed her like shadows. She's blind, right? No, partially. Then why's she got the cane? Just wants attention. The cruelty wasn't loud. It was casual, like background noise people got used to. The first time Naya saw her, Lily was standing in the cafeteria line, gripping her tray tight, whispering apologies as someone accidentally bumped into her for the third time. "Oops, sorry," they sneered, snatching a fry. Naya didn't even think. She stepped forward, slid her own tray between them, and said, She said, "Excuse me." "You didn't." The bully blinked, ready to argue, then saw the look in Naya's eyes. He backed off. Lily turned her head slightly toward her, sensing the shift. "Was that you?" "Yeah," Nia said. "Don't worry about them." "Do you always sound like that?" "Like what?" "Like you already know how this ends." Naya almost smiled. "Maybe I do." That afternoon, she walked Lily to class. At first, it was just quiet, the kind of silence that didn't need to be filled. But as days passed, Lily started talking about books she listened to in Braille audio, about how the car crash took half her sight and both her parents, about living with her aunt, who treated her like an obligation instead of family, about how teachers pitied her, but classmates mocked her for being fragile. And yet, there was light in her. She could joke about things no one else dared touch. "I can't see faces anymore," she said softly one afternoon, "but I can feel lies." That line stuck, because Nia had been surrounded by lies her whole life. People pretending not to see injustice, pretending silence was neutrality. Now, somehow, this girl, this fragile, bright, untouchable girl, was the only person who looked at her and didn't flinch. When they sat on the steps after school, Naya asked, "You ever wish you could see again?" Lily tilted her head. "Sometimes. But then again, maybe I was supposed to lose sight to start seeing things that actually matter." Nia didn't say it, but in that moment she made a promise. Nobody would hurt this girl again. Not while she could still see. And as the late bell echoed through the empty courtyard, the camera would have cut to her face. Quiet, serious, eyes steady. Because something deep in her already sensed it. The day was coming when keeping that promise would cost her everything. By the time spring rolled around, the hallways of Franklin High had chosen their hierarchies. Money first, looks second, power third. And somewhere below all that, below cheer captains and lacrosse stars, below perfect GPAs and picture-perfect smiles, was where kids like Nia and Lily lived. The different ones. The quiet ones. The ones who didn't fit the glossy brochure version of the school. It was the kind of place where silence had its own currency. Teachers ignored cruelty because it kept the peace. Bullies reigned because their parents wrote checks with too many zeros. And the one who ruled that food chain was Evan Carmichael. Quarterback, son of a defense contractor. Every hallway was his stage, every insult his applause. When he laughed, others followed. When he sneered, others flinched. And that week, his favorite target wasn't Naya, it was Lily. It started small. A trip in the hallway. A whispered, "Careful, blind girl." Then came the snatched homework, the mimicked tapping of her cane. Little cruelties designed to look like jokes. Nia warned him once, quietly. "Don't touch her again." He smirked, leaning close. "What are you gonna do? Breathe at me?" That line stuck too. The laughter that followed burned hotter than any punch. She didn't rise to it, not yet, because in her world, restraint was armor. Her sensei's voice still echoed in her head. "The first strike is easy. The last strike defines you. But every day it got harder. At home, Malik's asthma flared from mold in the ceiling. Her mother's meds ran out again. The landlord left another pink slip. And still, she showed up. Still helped Lily navigate hallways where people turned into obstacles instead of allies. Still smiled faintly when Lily whispered jokes like, "I guess being half-blind makes high school 50% easier to ignore." They were two girls walking through the same storm. One could barely see it, the other could barely afford to. But something about them together made people uncomfortable. A black girl and a half-blind white girl? It didn't fit the social script. One teacher whispered, "She's only helping her to look good." A student muttered, "Probably feels like a savior." And Evan? He called her charity case squared. One afternoon in the cafeteria, Lily bumped into a table, her tray crashing to the floor. Milk splashed across Evan's shoes. The whole room froze. Evan stood slowly, his smile a blade. "Guess the blind can't aim either," he said. Laughter. Phones raised. Lily's hands trembled as she reached for her tray, fingers slipping on the tile. The laughter kept going, until Naya's chair screeched backward, one clean sound cutting through the noise. She crouched beside Lily, wiping her hand with a napkin, voice steady. "Leave it. He's not worth it." Evan leaned down, eyes gleaming. "Neither are you." Nia's jaw tightened, but her tone stayed calm. "Apologize?" He laughed. "Or what?" She didn't blink. "Or I stop pretending I don't know how to end this." A ripple spread through the room. Whispers. Uneasy laughter. The kind that hides fear. Evan stared at her, uncertain for the first time. Then he backed off, muttering something under his breath. Lily whispered, "You shouldn't have done that." Naya answered, "Yeah. I should have done it sooner." But as they left the cafeteria, the camera would have lingered, on Evan's smirk slowly twisting into something darker. Because bullies don't forget defiance. And by tomorrow, he'd prove it. He'd make sure the next time they crossed paths, one of them wouldn't walk away. The next morning felt wrong from the start. Gray sky. Wind sharp as glass. That kind of silence before something breaks. Lily felt it too. Her cane tapped faster than usual, her breathing shallow as she followed Nia down the crowded hallway. The noise was thick. Lockers slamming, sneakers squeaking, laughter bouncing off tile. But underneath it all, Naya could sense it. The stares, the smirks. Something was coming. When they reached Lily's locker, the first hit came. Not a punch, but humiliation. Her locker door had been spray-painted with a single word. Blind. Big, crooked, dripping red. Lily froze. Around her, laughter erupted like static. Phones were already recording. Nia's blood went cold. She turned. And there he was. Evan Carmichael, leaning against the opposite wall, grinning like a wolf in a crowd of sheep. "Guess you didn't see that coming, huh?" he said, and the hallway roared with laughter. Lily's lip trembled. Her hand reached out blindly for the door, trying to wipe the paint off. Nia caught her wrist gently. "Don't," she whispered. "It's not worth it." But Evan wasn't done. He stepped closer. "Maybe next time, don't spill milk on my shoes. Or get your seeing-eye bodyguard to clean it up for you." That did it. The laughter hit like bullets. Lily flinched, whispering, "Please, Naya. Let's just go." But Nia didn't move. Her breath slowed. Her fingers flexed, the same rhythm she'd practiced for years in the dojo. Evan grinned wider, mistaking her calm for fear. "What's wrong?" he sneered. You gonna hit me? You think because you wear braids and boots you're tough? Lily's voice broke. Evan, stop! He shoved her. Hard. Her cane clattered against the floor, echoing like a gunshot. Lily stumbled backward into the lockers, the breath knocked out of her. The hallway went silent. For 2 seconds, no one moved. Then, one voice whispered, Bro, chill! But Evan laughed. What? She can't even see me. Something in Naya snapped. The stillness left her body, her jaw set, shoulders lowered, feet shifted, half stance, balanced, ready. She stepped between them, her voice low, even. Touch her again. Evan smirked, leaning close. Or what, ninja girl? He reached out, 2 fingers brushing Lily's shoulder in mockery. That was the last thing he touched. In a blur, Naya's hand shot up, gripping his wrist mid-air. A pop echoed. Not bone, just control. She twisted his arm, redirected his weight, and in a blink, Evan hit the floor with a thud that silenced the entire hall. Gasps. Phones raised. He scrambled up, red-faced. You're dead, he barked, swinging wildly. She sidestepped, fluid, precise, redirecting his punch into a harmless arc that spun him off balance. One movement, one pivot. Then her foot swept low, open palms. No punches. Control, not damage. Evan dropped again, this time flat on his back, staring up at her, humiliated. Nia stood over him, not breathing hard. Not angry, just calm. Her eyes said what her voice didn't. I warned you. But then, chaos. A teacher rounded the corner. Phones scattered, voices erupted. Lily was crying. Evan was shouting, She attacked me! She's crazy! And Nia just stood there, chest rising slow, the entire hallway staring. Half of them saw a hero. The other half saw trouble. The teacher grabbed her wrist, shouting, Nia Kane! My office, now! And as the crowd parted, one boy whispered exactly what everyone else was thinking. She didn't just fight back, she ended the food chain. But what Nia didn't know was that this one moment of justice was about to explode far beyond that hallway. Because Evan Carmichael wasn't just a bully, he was the son of someone powerful, and the video that captured this moment was already uploading, frame by frame, to the internet. The world was about to pick a side, and not everyone would choose hers. By the end of the school day, the video had already escaped the hallways. It hit TikTok first. 15 seconds, shaky hands, breathless gasps, and a caption that tore through feeds like wildfire. Black girl drops popular jock after he hits blind student. The clip exploded. Millions of views by nightfall, dozens of edits, freeze frames, slow motion, music over the takedown like it was a movie trailer. But with virality came division. Comments split in half. Queen, absolute queen. Self-defense is not violence. Shouldn't have touched her first. And then, typical angry black girl. Violence is never the answer. You can't assault a white boy and expect sympathy. Naya scrolled through it all in silence, the light of her cracked phone screen flickering across her face. She hadn't eaten, hadn't slept. Lily sat beside her on the couch, holding her hand tight. You did the right thing, Lily whispered. But right didn't feel safe anymore. Her phone buzzed again. Unknown number. A text message. You're done. My dad's a lawyer, Evan. Then another. My father's already called the district. In their world, justice is a contact sport, and they own the refs. Naya's stomach dropped. Because in her world, power didn't need to be right. It just needed to make a phone call. The next morning, the school looked different. Reporters outside. TV vans lining the curb. Students craning over stair rails, whispering, "That's her! That's the girl!" She walked through it all, head high, every step heavy. Inside, posters of the school's anti-bullying week hung like bad jokes. In the principal's office, her mother sat rigid in a chair, eyes bloodshot from exhaustion. Principal Dwyer folded his hands. "Nia, the board's been flooded with calls. This situation has become public." "She defended someone," her mom said firmly. "That boy attacked a disabled student." The principal sighed, glancing at the folder in front of him. "And now, the son of one of our largest donors is threatening to sue the district." There it was. The truth, stripped bare. Money louder than justice. Nia looked him in the eye. "So what happens now?" He hesitated. "You're suspended pending investigation." Her mother shot up. "You can't." But he was already shaking his head. "We have no choice." Nia stood slowly. "You had a choice. You just didn't have courage." She turned and walked out. The crowd outside the office parted like a sea. Phones up, cameras flashing. Every step she took became a clip, a caption, a comment. Hero or troublemaker? Would it be different if she wasn't black? That night, she lay awake, listening to her mother coughing in the next room, the glow of the TV reflecting the same headline over and over again. Teen hero or violent instigator? Franklin High under fire. And somewhere across town, Evan Carmichael's father sat behind a mahogany desk, phone pressed to his ear, saying calmly, "Make sure she never sets foot in that school again." The camera would have zoomed in on Nia's face then, eyes wide open in the dark. Not afraid. Awake. Because she realized something no one else wanted to admit. This wasn't about one hallway fight anymore. This was about who's allowed to fight back. And who isn't. The gymnasium had never seen this many people. What was supposed to be a quiet, disciplinary hearing had turned into a media circus. News vans lined the parking lot. Students filled the bleachers, their phones held high like torches. Parents whispered, teachers shifted uneasily, and in the middle of it all, Nia Kane sat alone at a folding table. On the opposite side sat Evan Carmichael. Hair slicked back, polo ironed crisp. His father, a man built from confidence and money, hovered behind him, whispering into a lawyer's ear. At the far end, Principal Dwyer cleared his throat. This meeting will determine whether Ms. Kane's actions were justified or constituted violent misconduct. The murmurs in the crowd grew louder. Everyone had already picked sides. Somewhere in the bleachers, a student clutched their phone, the one that held the full, unedited footage. Cameras flashed. Reporters whispered into microphones. Today's hearing at Franklin High pits the son of a major donor against a black honors student accused of assault. Nia's mother gripped her hand tight. "Keep your head up," she whispered. "You did nothing wrong." Nia nodded, but inside her pulse was a drumbeat of anger and disbelief. Then the lawyer stood. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, "my client, Evan Carmichael, was violently attacked by this young woman. The video circulating online is edited. It does not show the provocation." Gasps rippled through the crowd. "Provocation!" someone shouted. "She was defending a blind girl," another yelled. The lawyer raised a hand. "There is no proof of that." Nia's stomach dropped. The lawyer smirked. "All we have is this video, 30 seconds of violence." He clicked a remote. On the projector, the footage played again. The shove, the takedown, the silence afterward. But not the buildup. Not the cruelty. Not the paint on the locker or the shove that started it. From the back of the gym, a student slipped through the crowd, a phone clutched tight. He leaned toward Lily, whispering something, then pressed the device into her hand. Lily's fingers closed around it. Steady. Sure. When the lawyer's footage ended, the lawyer folded his arms. This is not heroism. This is aggression. The crowd erupted. Students shouted. Teachers argued. Parents booed. And through the noise, the gym doors creaked wider. Lily stood there, her white cane tapping once on the floor. The principal froze. "Lily, you weren't—" "Blind," she said softly, lifting the phone. "Not silent." A classmate recorded everything. Gasps. The lawyer's smile faltered. The lights dimmed again. The new footage played. Evan's laughter, the red paint on Lily's locker, the words, "blind girl," the shove, the fall, the laughter. Then Nia's quiet voice. Touch her again. The grab, the block, the takedown. When it ended, no one spoke. Not the lawyer, not the principal, not even Evan's father. And then, one sound broke the silence. Applause. It started with a single teacher in the back, then another. Then students, parents, and reporters joined in. Thunderous, unstoppable. Nia's mother pressed a hand to her mouth, tears spilling down her cheeks. Even Lily smiled through hers, turning toward the sound of her friend's name being chanted. "Nia! Nia! Nia!" The cameras captured it all. The girl they tried to paint as violent, standing calm and unbroken amid chaos. But while the crowd celebrated, Evan's father leaned close to the principal. "This isn't over," he whispered. "You think the internet decides who wins? You've never met real power." He stormed out, his son trailing behind, humiliated, phones recording every step. And in that moment, it hit Nia. This wasn't just about her or Lily anymore. This was about every kid who'd ever been told to stay quiet. Every girl who'd been punished for standing up. Because what started in one hallway had just become a movement. And the world was watching. By morning, the story had detonated far beyond Franklin High. #JusticeForNia trended across social media. Clips of the full video flooded TikTok, YouTube, and even primetime news. One reporter called it, "the school scandal that exposed America's silent hierarchy." Commentators replayed every frame in slow motion, her calm stance, her measured precision, her restraint. Others focused on the crowd's roar, calling it a modern Rosa Parks moment inside a high school gym. And while the world debated, powerful people panicked. Every screen that once mocked her was now evidence. Emails leaked from Franklin's district office. Memos surfaced showing that the Carmichael family had been quietly donating security funds to the school board for years. Funds that had kept Evan's past incidents buried. Threats, harassment, 3 previous complaints. All erased. The evidence went viral before the district could bury it. A headline hit every major network by noon. District corruption scandal. Wealthy donor family exposed after viral bullying case. In the superintendent's office, chaos reigned. Phones rang non-stop. Lawyers shouted over one another. "This is a nightmare," one administrator barked. Another whispered, "They're saying the state attorney's office just opened an investigation." And through it all, one image dominated the news cycle. Nia Kane, 17, walking beside Lily through the front gates of Franklin High as classmates applauded them back into school. The same hallway that had once been filled with laughter and cruelty was now lined with handmade posters. Discipline does not equal violence. Justice has a name, Nia Kane. Strength stands with compassion. Students lifted their phones, live streaming every step. Reporters pushed forward, microphones raised. "Nia, what message do you want to send to your classmates today?" She paused, hand on Lily's shoulder. "That standing up for someone who can't see injustice is what makes you human." Applause erupted again. That night, the dominoes began to fall. Evan Carmichael's father resigned from the district board. An ethics investigation uncovered years of discretionary contributions funneled into private accounts. State lawyers called it bribery and deprivation of rights under color of law. 3 school officials, including Principal Dwyer, were suspended pending review for negligence and favoritism. Even local politicians weighed in. The governor tweeted, "No student should be punished for defending what's right." Proud of Nia Kane for showing the power of courage and empathy. A late-night talk show host summed it up best. They called her violent. They called her out of line. But what she really did was hold up a mirror. Meanwhile, in the Carmichael mansion, silence ruled. Evan sat on the couch, face pale, watching himself on every channel. Not as the victim his father had claimed, but as the aggressor caught in 4K. The internet had already renamed him the boy who pushed the blind girl. The privilege that once protected him now burned like a brand. But across town, in a modest 2-bedroom apartment, Nia sat with her mom and Lily, watching the same coverage. Her mother's eyes were wet, voice shaking with pride. "Baby, they're calling you a hero." Nia shook her head softly. "I'm not a hero. I'm just tired of pretending to be quiet." Weeks later, Franklin High didn't look the same. The walls that once echoed with gossip and cruelty now carried murals painted by students, bold hands reaching toward one another, a cane beside a clenched fist, a quote stenciled in bright gold letters. "Strength isn't what you hide, it's what you use to protect." And right beneath it, in small print, Nia Kane. The district's new superintendent, a black woman named Dr. Amara Benson, walked the halls flanked by students from the Diversity Council. The council itself was Nia's idea. It wasn't about punishment anymore. It was about prevention, about listening. In the courtyard, a small ceremony unfolded. Cameras rolled, news anchors whispered introductions. The sign unveiled, "The Kane Initiative for Student Justice." Nia stood at the podium, sunlight streaking across her face. Lily was beside her, her hand lightly resting on Nia's wrist. She hesitated before speaking. The crowd leaned in. "Months ago, I didn't think anyone cared what kids like me said. I thought being quiet was safer." She paused, glancing at her mother in the front row, tears shining on tired cheeks. "But silence," Nia continued, "is what keeps the wrong people comfortable. And I'm done keeping bullies comfortable." Applause thundered. Behind her, a bronze plaque gleamed, dedicated to students who see with their hearts and speak with courage. Even the local police chief attended, publicly thanking Nia for reminding his department that justice starts in small places before it reaches the courts. But the most shocking turn came minutes later. A quiet commotion rippled through the crowd as a boy stepped forward from the edge of the gathering. Evan Carmichael. Gone was the arrogance, replaced by something hollow. His once pristine uniform looked wrinkled, his hands fidgeting like they no longer knew what to do. Whispers erupted. "What's he doing here?" He approached the podium slowly, eyes down, and extended something toward Nia. A folded letter. "It's an apology," he said softly, voice trembling, "and a donation. My family's money, it hurt people. Maybe it can help now." He turned to Lily. "I'm sorry." The moment was raw, uncomfortable and real. Cameras zoomed in. Nia nodded once. "Forgiveness heals people," she said quietly. "Accountability fixes systems." Silence. Then the courtyard erupted. Evan nodded, understanding more in that silence than he ever had in his father's world of power and lawyers. The applause that followed wasn't just for Nia. It was for something larger. The moment a community decided to rewrite its own rules. Later that night, Nia and Lily walked home together under streetlights. The world was quieter now. Lily's cane tapped in rhythm with their steps. "You know," Lily said softly, "my brother told me once that heroes don't wear capes. They just show up when it matters." Nia smiled. "Guess we both did." The two of them crossed the street, shadows stretching long behind them, two silhouettes that had turned pain into purpose. And somewhere, online, another clip was spreading again. Nia's final line from the podium. "Strength isn't loud, it's steady. And when it finally stands, the whole world listens." Some stories fade when the cameras stop rolling. This one didn't. Because what Nia Kane did wasn't just defend a friend. She exposed a system. She made courage contagious. Now, months later, kids still whisper her name in hallways like a promise. Do what Nia did. Teachers listen differently. Rules are rewritten. And somewhere in every school across the country, a girl who once kept her head down is standing up, not because she isn't afraid, but because she finally knows she's not alone. Lily's vision will never return, but her world is brighter than ever, filled with sound, laughter, and the voice of a friend who never stopped seeing her. And Nia? She didn't just rebuild a reputation, she rebuilt a culture. Because in the end, justice doesn't roar. It rises quietly, steadily, until the world has no choice but to listen. This is Black Stories, where courage doesn't ask for permission, and every voice deserves to be heard. If you believe silence should never protect injustice, like this video, share it and subscribe. Because sometimes, the loudest revolution begins with one calm, steady, enough, stillness first, force last, never ego.
Años exactamente, bueno, no exactamente, ¿no? Un grupo de soñadores en La Paz decidió fundar algo que trascendería generaciones. El glorioso Club Bolívar. No imaginaron que... Oye, me he esforzado al hacer el discurso. ¿Qué ponen ZZ, chat? Basta, me he esforzado, se los juro que me he esforzado, bro, basta. Por favor, me he esforzado en el discurso, respéteme un poquito, chat. Bueno, igual lo voy a leer, me la chupan, la verdad. Chat, nefastos. Son unos envidiosos, ¿saben? Son unos envidiosos. ¿En qué me quedé? No imaginaron que ese nombre se convertiría en un sinónimo de grandeza, lucha y de orgullo nacional. 101 años después, Bolívar no es solo un club. Es un sentimiento que se hereda, que se sufre y se celebra. Últimamente sufrimos mucho por Robato, ¿no? Es el latido de miles de hinchas que en cada victoria y en cada caída nunca abandonan, ¿verdad? Nomás. Porque ser celeste no es una elección, es una forma de vivir. Muy bien, qué lindo, un aplauso. Bravo, bravo. Muchachos, tremendo discurso. Buenas noches, Edito, ¿cómo estás? Por lo menos ponte tu chompita, pues, un busito para leer el discurso. A ver, cállate, Gabo, ¿vos quieres ser baneado? Este discurso lo he hecho en mi cama, pensando en lo que es ser bolivarista, la verdad. Un aplauso, por favor, y con ayuda también del gran ChatGPT. Un aplauso para ChatGPT. Ah, ¿cuál era la finalización? De un ratito, dice... que estos 101 años sean solo el comienzo de muchas más llenos de alegría. Felicidades, Academia. Felicidades, Bolívar. ¡Bravo! Aplausos para ChatGPT, muchachos. Para vos no, dice. Buenas noches, muchachos, ¿cómo están? Gracias por estar aquí, perdón por prender tan tarde. La verdad estaba viendo mi serie, estaba viendo el regreso de Justin Bieber. Toda la tarde me vi fútbol, hasta vi el partido del Tigre. Vi el partido de River, vi el partido de Oriente. Las declaraciones de Martins, tremendo lo de Martins, bebé, le tiró palo a Villegas, pero bien tirado. Huevada, en su cama lo hizo todo pajeado pensando en el... No, ¿qué dice este Arielito? Oye, ¿quiénes vamos, no? Mi sobrino de quién redacta mejor. Dile eso a ChatGPT, yo no he redactado. ¿Qué me estás molestando a mí? Felicidades. Qué basado. Pues la verdad nomás. ¿Qué quieren que les diga? A ver, ¿qué les puedo decir, muchachos? Yo no publiqué nada en mi página, la verdad no hice nada estos días. Han sido momentos difíciles. Bien triste, ¿no? Mentira. Pero no, muchachos, bueno. Quiero felicitar a todos los que son bolivaristas y hoy en día más que nunca, ¿no? Que es difícil ser bolivarista en el sentido de todo el contexto que estamos pasando con el técnico. Pero si lo ven por el otro lado también hay que sentirnos orgullosos porque hemos llegado a estos 101 años. Creo que como la institución mejor parada, tanto económicamente, futbolísticamente y dirigencialmente diría, pero no, creo que no, ahí nos falta, ¿no? Ese eslabón para poder ser una institución sólida. Y como ayer creo que lo decía Dardo Gómez en su publicación en el Cholet, que Dios mío, ¿de dónde cagan tanta plata, bebés? Más fuegos pirotécnicos que en el aniversario de La Paz, no mames. Tremendo, felicidades a los del Cholet y a ver si pasan pues algunos monies. No mentira. Que dijo que el dirigente tiene que estar siempre al lado del hincha. Y eso es mucha verdad. Y no es por darle palo a Claure, porque él tendrá sus funciones, las cosas que tienen que hacer. Pero creo que por esa parte que estoy... Uy, ¿qué? No, todavía no va a arrancar la fiesta, Tucán, tranquilo. Y por esa parte creo que está bien, ¿no? Está bien. Y bueno, se vienen unas futuras elecciones donde el principal candidato es Dardo Gómez a seguir manejando lo que es este club tan bonito que es Bolívar, ¿no? Por detrás, obviamente, yo creo que tiene que haber gente que lo asesore. Espera, ¿mi gatita se echó pipí? No, ya, más bien. Me ha asustado, chicos, la verdad, me ha asustado. Ya saben ustedes, rayada está mi gatita últimamente, ¿no? No, ¿qué dice este Edipox? Y bueno, muchachos, nos espera, creo, un futuro grandioso. Yo lo dije, creo que esta es una oportunidad ya con el Stadium de una vez establecernos como un club de fútbol, pero serio, y fuera de ser autosostenible, que se proyecte a más, ¿me entiendes? No estancarnos en solo ser un club boliviano, sino ya empezar a soñar con, no sé, a ver, por ejemplo, la venta de butacas en el estadio, venta de marketing, merchandising, que se vaya ampliando más las sociedades, ¿me entienden? O sea, yo creo que si una cabeza maneja bien todo eso, creo que podemos despegar, ¿me entiendes? Y no estar ahí creando leyes de mierda con el gobierno, pidiendo perdón para que nos perdonen los impuestos, ¿no? Los gatos, ¿no? Entonces, creo que, o ser un club que está a punto de desaparecer, como Wilstermann, que desapareció de la liga, pero está a punto de desaparecer, pero absolutamente de todo el fútbol. O ser clubes que le están mangueando el auspicio a la UTV, y chupándosela al presidente de la federación por subsistir. Entonces creo que Bolívar es muy grande y tiene, creo que, trascender. Eso es lo que nos falta, trascender, dar ese pasito para trascender y lograr los objetivos que siempre hemos querido, ya sea una Copa Sudamericana o una Copa Libertadores, ¿no? Y siempre tiene que ir de la mano. Estos últimos años, creo que es la verdad, se han ido alejando a las generaciones bolivaristas, al hincha común, al hincha fanático, a todos los tipos de hinchas se han ido alejando del club por justamente el mal trabajo que se ha ido realizando estos últimos años en Bolívar. ¿Qué decía Valdivia? Creo que dijo que dejó un club autosostenible. O sea, sí, no vamos a decir que no. Económicamente creo que se dejó un club autosostenible. A ver, Solís, no pidas Gartic, ya les he dicho qué cosa de Gartic. Hoy día es aniversario del club, déjame hablar a ver de mi club, Solís. Igual en el grupo de WhatsApp, no, Tucán, jugaremos Gartic. No quiero dibujar huevadas, déjame, no voy a jugar Gartic. Ya les he dicho, si quieren dibujar, agarren un cuadernito y empiezan a dibujar sus huevadas. No me vengan a molestar a mí con su Gartic. Saludos, Reyisita, ¿cómo estás? ¿Todo bien? Gartic, temática Bolívar. No, métanse su Gartic por el poto, ya les he dicho. Y bueno, muchachos, ¿en qué estaba? Es que me enerva, muchachos, cada vez Gartic. Basta, no quiero jugar Gartic. Vayan a jugar Gartic con sus minas. Goklingo, huevadas hablas. Ya, espera, que qué hable este Ignacio Loza, este Auri. Y bueno, muchachos, creo que sí, yo me quedo con eso. Este martes tenemos un partido muy importante en lo económico. Para mí, muy importante para ver qué está el club de cara a este año, porque creo que es indispensable ganarle a ese equipo. En Copa Libertadores, obviamente por los 3 puntos y más. Pero pensando a futuro, creo que es muy importante que se vea buen fútbol, ¿no? Y que la gente ya esté un poquito más tranquila con el funcionamiento del equipo. Ayer contra Bebé, bueno, el día sábado contra Bebé, se jugó un buen partido, no digo que un malo partido. Creo que empezaron a aparecer personas, o bueno, jugadores que no estaban apareciendo, como es el Papu Velázquez y muchos más, ¿no? Entonces, interesante. Y bueno, apareció Cauterucho, que en el partido de Libertadores no había aparecido ni de sombra. Parece que Cauterucho solo le mete goles a equipos como ABB. Y preocupa un poquito eso, ¿no? Hoy ganó el Tigre, está puntero con nosotros. Nacional Potosí también está compartiendo la punta con nosotros y muchos más que vienen bien entonándose en lo que es este torneo, ¿no? Que empezó retardísimo y creo que nos va a pesar no solo a nosotros, sino a los demás equipos que están participando en copas internacionales, ya sea Blooming el caso, ¿no? Y otros más. Mete gol equipo chicos como Dorniro, pero Dorni ni jugó. ¿Qué dicen, chicos? ¿Qué dicen? La era Robato es la peor de todos los tiempos, bebé, tomando en cuenta el centenario que es una vez en la vida. Sí, es la peor. De los últimos 10 años, ¿se podría decir que lo de Robato es lo peor que nos pudo pasar? A ver, piensen. Es que con lo que me dice el técnico de... A ver, ustedes pónganse a pensar, si tu técnico te dice que el objetivo era solo clasificar a Libertadores y que no estaba obligado a ser campeón, puta, ahí me la bajó mal, amigos, sinceramente, me la bajó mal. Podía aceptarle todas sus huevadas y todo, pero cuando dijo eso, es como que me hizo sentir un club más del montón, ¿me entiendes? Un Nacional Potosí, una Aurora, no sé,